Hey, what if everything you learned about America's first settlers in school was only half the story? What if the land we call home held secrets buried not just in the dirt, but in DNA? DNA that's only now spilling the truth. Stick with me, because this one's going to challenge everything. By the end, you'll never look at the history books the same way again. Let's dive in. Imagine this. Over 12,000 years ago, a tiny child, barely a toddler, is laid to rest in Montana. His body is covered in red ochre, the color of blood and life, surrounded by exquisite stone tools. These were Clovis points, those iconic fluted spears that could bring down mammoths in their tracks. For decades, archaeologists called these people the Clovis culture, the supposed first widespread settlers of the Americas. But who were they really? Where did they come from? And why does their story feel incomplete? Fast forward to 2014. Scientists extract DNA from that child's remains, known as ANZIC-1, the only fully sequenced Clovis genome. What they found didn't just rewrite one chapter, it rewrote the whole book and exposed a buried secret. It exposed debates, rival theories, and a dark secret that challenges the clean narrative we've all been taught. But before we get to the bombshell, you need the full picture. America's peopling is no simple tale. It's a scientific thriller full of dead ends, heated fights, and paradigm-shifting discoveries that changed everything we knew. For most of the 20th century, the story was straightforward. Clovis First. Hunters crossed from Siberia into Alaska. They crossed via the Bering Land Bridge, a vast grassy corridor exposed by lower sea levels during the Ice Age. They moved south through an ice-free corridor spreading rapidly, with Clovis technology marking their path from Montana to Chile. Textbooks love this story. It was neat, it fit the timeline, it felt complete. But it wasn't. Cracks appeared early. In the 1970s and 80s, sites like Meadowcroft and Monteverde suggested humans arrived much earlier, possibly 14,000 to 16,000 years ago or more. Skeptics cried contamination or misdating. The debate got toxic fast. Careers were on the line. Some called pre-Clovis believers fringe. Others accused Clovis defenders of clinging to outdated dogma. Then came the genetics revolution. In 2014, a team led by Eske Willerslev sequenced ANZIC-1's full genome. The results were stunning and clear. This Clovis child carried DNA showing clear Siberian ancestry, closely related to ancient North Eurasian populations from around 24,000 years ago. He belonged to mitochondrial haplogroup D4H3A, a lineage still found in Native Americans living today across the continent. Most strikingly, ANZIC-1 is directly ancestral to many Central and South American indigenous peoples, and related to northern ones too. This wasn't just support for the Beringian model, it was a hammer blow to one controversial alternative theory. That theory was the Solutrean Hypothesis. Proponents argued that Clovis tools looked suspiciously like Ice Age European tools. Beautifully worked bifacial points from Spain and France, crafted around 20,000 years ago, strikingly similar to Clovis technology. Maybe brave seafarers paddled along the Atlantic ice edge, surviving on seals, and brought their skills to a new world. It was romantic. It explained some tool similarities, and for a while it gained traction in certain circles. But ANZIC-1's DNA had zero European signals from that era, no admixture fitting a transatlantic migration whatsoever. The child's genome aligned clearly with Asian origins, refuting the idea that Clovis culture had any European roots. As one researcher put it, the findings effectively put the Solutrean hypothesis to rest once and for all. The dark secret some hope for, a European founding of America, simply didn't hold up in the blood. If you're loving this deep dive, hit that like button right now and subscribe for more hidden history stories. But the story doesn't end with closure. It gets messier and far more fascinating the deeper you look. Kennewick Man, discovered in Washington state in 1996, was another bombshell. His skull sparked wild speculation about his origins. Some early analysts said he looked Caucasoid, others guessed European, Ainu from Japan, or even Polynesian ancestry. Tribes fought for his reburial, claiming him as their ancestor. The legal and scientific battle lasted nearly 2 decades. In 2015, DNA analysis settled it. Kennewick belonged to a founding Native American lineage, mtDNA X2A, clearly confirmed. He was closely related to modern Columbia River tribes like the Colville. He fit right into the Native American family tree. These cases highlight a key point. Ancient DNA is bridging archaeology and living peoples, showing deep, unbroken continuity across time. Native Americans today descend primarily from these early waves, not later replacements, as some older skull-shaped theories once suggested. Yet the first question lingers. Footprints at White Sands, New Mexico, dated to around 23,000 years ago, stun researchers. That suggests humans were in the Americas during the last glacial maximum, way before Clovis ever appeared on the scene. Pre-Clovis sites point to coastal or earlier interior routes. Maybe people hugged the Pacific coast in boats, moving south. Genetics adds more layers. Ancestral Native Americans split from East Asians around 36,000 years ago, with North Eurasian gene flow added. A Beringian Standstill followed, where their ancestors paused in Beringia for thousands of years, adapting before moving south. Then a deep divergence happened. Northern and southern branches split early, explaining why Anzac I is genetically closer to southern groups. More recent work reveals even wilder twists hiding in the genomes of people alive today in South America. Some Amazonian groups carry faint traces of an ancient ghost population with distant Australasian affinities, a mysterious early migration. Maybe an early coastal migration left a tiny genetic echo before being absorbed by the main incoming wave of people. New genome projects are also uncovering later movements, like migrations from central Mexico into South America around 300 years ago. The dark secret? It's not some conspiracy of hidden Europeans or lost civilizations arriving on secret ancient voyages. It's that the peopling of the Americas was far more complex, dynamic, and ancient than anyone once believed. Multiple waves, extreme environment adaptations, megafauna interactions, and resilient populations thriving for millennia, all before 1492 ever happened. The land wasn't empty wilderness. It was home to sophisticated hunter-gatherers whose descendants built incredible and lasting societies. DNA has unified the record in powerful ways. Clovis people weren't outsiders. Their tools spread across an already explored continent. The child at Anzac represents a pivotal population, one that shaped much of what followed across an entire hemisphere. Think about the human drama. Families crossing vast unknowns, facing saber-toothed cats and massive ice sheets, innovating to survive. That ochre-covered toddler wasn't just data. He was loved. His genome connects him to millions of people alive today. If this makes you rethink what FIRST really means, drop a comment below. What surprised you most about this story? If you want more on ancient mysteries, ancient DNA, or forgotten histories, smash subscribe and turn on notifications now. Science marches on. New finds, better dating, and more genomes from underrepresented areas will keep refining what we know. Debates about exact timings, was it 20,000 years or 30,000, continue. But the core holds firm and clear. Primary origins in Northeast Asia and Siberia, with incredible human resilience and diversity spreading across an entire new world. This isn't erasure, it's enrichment. It honors the deep time and ingenuity of indigenous ancestors across thousands of generations. It also reveals humanity's shared wanderlust, that ancient restless drive to cross the horizon and call new lands home. The next time you stand on American soil, remember, people have called this home far longer than we imagined. They carried stories in their DNA that we are only now, for the very first time, learning to read. The secret wasn't darkness, it was depth, a tapestry more beautiful and complex than any single narrative could ever capture. What do you think the next big DNA discovery will reveal? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.